outside, Al. That's what makes you have to take that three away, and then he just blows by you and gets to the basket whenever he wants. As is an example right there, showing the nastiness, the ferocity when he does go to the rim. Great free throw shooter, too. That's a little bit of the sidestep he talked about. He's got the step back and the sidestep, so he's got all the moves.
Look at this. 35.7, tops in the league. So are the three-point attempts. Free throws as well. He's been passing the ball, and he's been stealing the ball as well. So he's playing some defense. David Fizdale on James Harden in the Geico quote book.
I got a lot of respect for James because, initially coming out of Arizona State, he wasn't a guy that everybody was just like, oh, my God, And I had a buddy that was his assistant coach in college, and he said, this kid has got a real chance if he continues to grow. And I faced him in the finals when he was with OKC, and now I faced him in a whole nother capacity. And just to see the evolution of him as a player and a young man has been impressive. And he is exactly what you just said. He's a force.
What would be your philosophy guarding him?
Just keep the ball out of his hands if you can. I know he handles the ball a lot as a point guard, but when he does pass it, overplay him. Don't let him get the ball back. Sometimes run some double teams at him. Make other guys beat you, and don't let him beat you from the three-point line. Force him to drive.
We'll take a break here on FiOS Knicks Game Night. When we come back, Alan Hahn's Knicks Fix. In the conversation, Frank Ntilikina, and he has a stat of the night that is absolutely going to blow you away. Back at the Garden, the Knicks and the Houston Rockets tonight. Montefiore is doing more in state-of-the-art healthcare. Follow MSG Networks on Twitter to vote on the Knicks doing more player. And off that 8-assist, good all-around game, Alonzo Trier may just be in the lead. It all leads us to Alan Hahn's Knicks Fix. Al Trautwig back on the Chase Bridge. James Harden in the Garden tonight, Alan. He gets criticized for a lot of things, taking bad shots, flopping, not playing defense. What does Mike D'Antoni say about that?
Yeah, well, he defends the defense part, if you want to put it that way. It's something he didn't want to hear about the defense. The flopping, the shots, all that other stuff. It's amazing for a guy who's an MVP and a candidate to win it again. Is someone that gets so much criticism, and Mike D'Antoni doesn't want to hear about the defense. So this is last week after they played the Lakers. Take a look at this. So every once in a while, he'll take a playoff and they'll zoom in, meaning, of course, the haters. And you can do that for every player in the NBA if you wanted to. That's just a narrative that you want to make. Now, I mean, there's plenty of video evidence to suggest that James Harden is not a great defensive player. But, you know, he is someone that will take charges. He does often match up against the other team's weaker offensive player. But he's also scoring 40 points a night, so it's not as if you're asking him to do so much at one end. He will rest on the defensive end. His defensive rating is the lowest it's been in a couple of years now. It's 111, which last year was 105, but that could also be the felt by losing two very important wing defenders in Mabute and also Trevor Ariza and Chris Paul not being there, and now Clint Capella as well. So try to use numbers, whatever you want. Mike D'Antoni doesn't want to hear it. In fact, he says they're trying to find something he's not Superman at, and they're having a hard time. I think his defense has been underrated for a while. I wouldn't go that far.
Speaking of defense, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Frank Ntilikina tonight.
It's something I'm really looking forward to watching, and it's something that actually I look back to last year. Remember, early in the season, the Rockets were in town, and James Harden was here, and Frank Ntilikina as a rookie. Check this out. Little shutdown action there, not falling for some of the fakes at the strip here. Ntilikina had the crowd excited. Now, last game here at the Garden on Monday afternoon, check this out. Ending the first quarter, Paul George went for 13 in the first quarter, and Frank Ntilikina turns the water off. This is the last possession, forces a bad shot, and these are those moments we watch. Russell Westbrook, end of the half. Same thing, possession, Ntilikina. Perfect defense and closing out, and that's what turns into this. I call him one of the most polarizing players the Knicks have right now among the fan base, because you have these moments like this where he is known to be a defensive player. This is who he wants to be. I talked to him early in the season. He told me that I have the mentality and I have the ability to be an elite defender. It's what he wants to be. It's just we aren't seeing consistently, whereas offensive players will shoot poorly, and maybe you'll say one game or two games they'll shoot better, and then you'll look forward to it like a Kevin Knox. There's no stats really you can put out there for a guy like Ntilikina. There's just moments like that we just showed you that I think we look forward to. So tonight, let's see, against the best scorer in the NBA today, how will Ntilikina do? I hope he gets to face him again.
What do you make of the Chicago Bulls trading for Carmelo Anthony?
This is something, isn't it? Like how Carmelo Anthony has gone from when he was here in New York to being the star player to now he's with his fourth franchise, and not for long, that in the last 6 months. And you think about the trade that the Thunder made in July and sending him to the Atlanta Hawks, and the Hawks basically just waived him. And then he signs with the Houston Rockets. He plays 10 games. It just didn't work out there. It was an awkward move, really, if you thought it. They sent him away, and now the Rockets need to create a roster spot to bring in Kenneth Faried to fill in. They need an extra big, so they end up trading him to the Bulls. Now, coincidentally, the Bulls wanted to sign him a couple of years ago, but the Bulls aren't even going to play him either. They plan on either trading him or waiving him before the February 7th trade deadline. So Carmelo Anthony has been actually here in New York working out, training, and waiting for his opportunity to actually get back on a basketball court and play and see if he can be part of a playoff team. The one team out there, the Lakers. That's continually been the one team a lot of people think he will end up with. The Lakers don't have a roster spot now. They'd have to create one if they want to sign him. But Melo, think about it, has been with 4 franchises since the summer, and he's only played for one of them in that time. Incredible where his career is right now. And the question, of course, is this the last time we'll see him in the NBA? And if it is, Hall of Fame credentials, I'm saying yes.
Okay.
Chris Paul for the Rockets. So some of the keys here to maybe beating them.
They want to play fast, so you better get back in transition, defend that three. They average over 50 threes a game and drive the ball. Without Capella, they're vulnerable to taking the ball to the basket.
All right, Knicks and the Rockets. Coming up, Houston is 14-6 in its last 20, and that's the run. 20 straight for James Harden with at least 30 points. Big challenge tonight for the Knicks. Closed captioning sponsored by New York Lottery. It's going to be interesting. Harden in the Garden coming up. Knicks and Rockets right after this.
Knicks are presented by Chase, and tonight they'll face the Houston Rockets at 26-20 in their only visit of the season. The Rockets come in with their star, of course, and that's James Harden, who says he's looking for a signature game at Madison Square Garden. He's got something big on his mind. To the head coach of the Knicks, who's going to guard this guy?
Everybody is a guard James Harden tonight. If you see me in the stands in my suit, you're going to know.
And the Knicks take the floor trying to end a losing streak that's gone on way too long, and they've been told, as you heard the coach, it's all hands on deck. Good evening, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig. In a lot of ways, it's been a record-setting season for the Houston Rockets. How about the way they shoot the three? In the last 17 games, they're averaging 50 a game. Try defending that. Back to James Harden. He told us yesterday he remembered with the all-time greats. Well, coming in, he couldn't be more confident. He scored more than 30. His 20 games. For more on his performance this year, we go to Mike Breen and the one and only Walt Clyde Breen.
Thank you, Al. Good evening, everyone. When David Fizdale said everybody's guard Harden, he was obviously joking, but it's not that far from the truth. You need a total team effort to stop what Harden is doing. Now, one of the young players for the Knicks who will get that chance is Frank Ntilikina. And the other day against Oklahoma City, it was another one of those games, Clyde, where Ntilikina showed the glimpses of his potential at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, he's 6. He can't consistent reputation. He'll play one of his best all-around games, the previous game, pounding, Paul right here, and doing a good job forcing him into an ill-advised shot. Then he comes right back with Westbrook, not allowing him to use his quickness. Westbrook 6'3", Frank 6'6", smothering him right there, and he showed dexterity off the dribble, and ended transition through clever finding Cantor, so the Knicks are hoping he can continue to play outstanding again tonight.
Ntilikina coming off the bench, under again. He was aggressive at both ends of the floor. The key, as we've been talking about for a year and a half, is consistency. Can he do it night in and night out? Meanwhile, as for Harden, in the 73 years in the history of the NBA, there have been very few players who played at the level that he's been playing during this stretch. Clyde, the numbers he's putting up offensively are staggering. What impresses you the most about what he's doing?
Well, his size, folks. He's 6'5", but 220 pounds. And he has an old-school mentality. Look at that infinite range. He's a southpaw. That also complicates things when you're guarding the guy. He's a lefty. So they're trying to force him left or right. But he's getting better all the time, Mike. Now he's seeing double, triple teams, but to no avail. He continues to astound with his scoring. And watch this play right here. Agile and hostile, getting in there, ducking the ball. So he's been invincible, indefensible. Obviously, he's going to try to go off tonight at the world's most famous arena. The coach was joking about everybody guarding him. But they've got to get somebody to put some defense on this guy to contain him tonight.
He is putting up historic numbers, but not just the scoring. The fact that he's third in the NBA in assists. He's fourth in the NBA in steals. Harden is carrying the Rockets like nobody else is carrying their team this year. But they did get some help with their wounded players, with Clint Capella, their star center, out. Kenneth Faried, who began the year in Brooklyn, was let go by Brooklyn, signed as a free agent. This will be his second game. A former excellent player with the Denver Nuggets now getting an opportunity. He'll start for the Rockets. Though it's the first meeting of the season between the two, the Rockets have been winning this series. Meanwhile, the Knicks trying to stop their 9-game home losing streak. Knicks and Rockets coming up next on MSG.
Back to the Garden, where the Knicks are getting set to take on the Rockets. This marquee matchup is presented to you by Adyen, the platform for payment of choice for many of the world's leading companies. Welcome inside, everybody. I'm Rebecca Harlow. Now, Alonzo Trier is back. It took him a good handful of games to regain his form, his timing, coming off the hamstring injury that had him out for about a month. But when you take a look at the highlights here, you'll see that he's back in rhythm. Now, he told me that he's a rhythm player and a guy that likes routine every day. So he said getting back to that process coming off the hamstring just took a while, simply to just find his timing once again. But the coaches have done a nice job over the last couple of games creating plays for him, putting him in positions to score, and it's paid off. As we take a look at tonight's Taco Bell take, you'll see the numbers here. They're pretty staggering. The previous 9 games after that hamstring injury versus the last 2. And what stands out about this? Those assists, averaging 6 a game over the last 2, coming off of a career-high 8. Now, we know that Trier's a guy who can create his own shot, but when you see him getting his teammates involved with all of those, that's a huge step in the right direction for Trier. We'll see if he can get it done tonight. We've got tip-off next right here on MSG.
Wednesday night in New York City, the Knicks and the Houston Rockets here at Madison Square Garden. Starting lineups brought to you by and again, you look Eric Gordon, P.J. Tucker, James Harden, and a bunch of new Rockets in the starting lineup. Austin Rivers, his 15th game with the team. Kenneth Reed, his 2nd. Meanwhile, for the Knicks, with the injury to Luke Cornett, Lance Thomas is going to start his 7th game of the season at the forward spot, and Noah Vonleh, who's been starting at the forward, will begin in the middle. As James Harden is the man everybody's coming to see, again on one of the most incredible offensive stretches the NBA has ever seen. It's been 55 years since Will Chamberlain put up some of these numbers that Harden is now doing. And he's doing it with a roster that's injury depleted. And they've got guys on 10-day contracts, guys who've come over from Europe. All sorts of players playing with him. The defense is geared to stop him, yet he continues to put up these staggering numbers.
And the hoopla is at the world's most famous arena tonight. We did not have this hoopla with Westbrook and George. But as Mike alluded to, they've come to see Harden tonight. A lot of people saying, will he get 50? Will he get 60?
Our opening tip delivered by Papa John's, and we're set to go here at the Garden. It has been a one-sided affair between these two teams. Knicks have really struggled against the Rockets. 2-24 in their last 26 games against the Rockets, who have just dominated them. As P.J. Tucker lines up his first shot, won't go. Although the Rockets coming off a 28-point beating on Monday down at Philadelphia against the Sixers, and they're only 4-5 in their last 9 games. That for a team that has its eyes on a championship this year. Lance Thomas inside, double block, knocked out of bounds, and it's still
30th. Harden averages 8 assists to go with the 35 points. Now the isolation.
Moutier will guard him at first. There's the step back, count it, and the foul. And a chance for a 4-point play to start the game.
And again, folks, the Knicks have given up 10. A little shaking and baking. And Moutier, the ill-advised foul, inexplicably bouncing into Harden. So the Knicks have had 10 4-point plays by the opposition. Harden looking to make it 11 with this one.
Meanwhile, Harden, the way he's able to manipulate and exploit the defenders, especially that step back, now that they're calling when the defender gets into the shooter's space when he comes down. So many chances as knocks three-pointer misses. That's the 54th time this season Harden has been fouled on a three-point attempt. 54. Eric Gordon drives, can't finish. P.J. Tucker the rebound. Tucker back up. His layup won't go. And Bonley lost it. By the way, after Harden, again, 54 times fouled on three-pointers, the next closest player is 19.
That's what he does. He tantalizes and mesmerizes guys into foolish plays. So Moutier, the culprit previously.
Drives this time on Moutier and lays it up and in. So quick 6 points for Harden. We've played 90 seconds.
The guy's not going to pass, folks, so someone should be open. He's not passing the ball.
He doesn't pass unless he's completely double-teamed or picks up his dribble, but he is 3rd in the NBA in assists per game. I find that one of the real startling statistics, Clyde, for a guy to be scoring at this level and still getting 8, 9, 10 assists per game, often triple-doubles.
And also 2 steals per game, so he's really improved his defense.
Hardaway guarded by Gordon. To Hardaway, nails the 3. Hardaway coming off an efficient game on Monday when he had 23 on 7 of 14 from the field.